Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Court is in session, ladies and gentlemen. Strategic back again. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, man. It's Saturday. It's my last day of work. I'm working the night shift tonight. I'm very well rested. I don't know why, because I didn't get any sleep. We did have to do a last-minute change to the show. I want to explain that to you guys real quick, because I know a lot of people saw that I was initially going to do reacting to that new recording of Jen Soto being interviewed with less redactions. I think there are two out there. There's the Stephan Sterns version, and then there's the Jen Soto version. So I'm like, I want to do this. I'm hearing people in the comment section like, yo, Strategic, we need you to react to this new audio. And I'm like, so I go looking for it. Unfortunately, I can't find it. So I go to the research crew. I'm like, yo, can you guys find it for me? I said, no problem. This is at 2:35 in the morning, right? By the time like 3 a.m., we finish communicating. I go to bed by like 3:30 a.m., right? I wake up this morning. It's 8 in the morning. I check my phone. It's like, yo, we got it. So I set up the live. I'm like, okay, we're rocking and rolling. We got it. And then I click the link. And unfortunately, the research crew is always on point. So I'm very grateful. I'm not, going after my research crew. They're awesome. But it was another creator reacting to the audio. I can't do a show where I'm reacting to a creator reacting to the source material. We don't do that. We very rarely do that. I think the only a few times we've done that, and we just got like a snippet out of it or something like that, or it was those interviews that JHI did with Stephan Sterns' friends, and that was an interview. He wasn't reacting. He was an interviewer asking questions, and he also allowed the person, the interviewee, to respond at length. So that's a different type of reaction. But to have another creator listening to the audio interview, adding their 2 cents in as to what they think is going on, and then I'm reacting on top, it's just chaos. And not only is it chaos, but it kind of feels to me like I'm kind of like hijacking their material. So don't like that. We don't do that here. That's not what we do. Some people do that. We don't do that here. So I need source material. And unfortunately, we could not find the source material as of yet. I went to all my favorite places like Grizzly True Crime. She didn't have that new audio. Went over to Plunder, to her Patreon as well. You should consider becoming a part of her Patreon and my Patreon. But her Patreon has a lot of stuff on there as far as Madeline Soto audios, interviews, the whole nine, because she does the FOIA requests with the docket and GHI and all the folks that's in that little group that pools their money together to get these FOIA requests. So I went over to her Patreon. She didn't have it either. What she did have is the newly released audio interview for Stephan Sterns. So that's why we did that last minute change where at first it says reacting to Jen Soto, and then it changed to reacting to Stephan Sterns. I apologize for that. I like to be as accurate as I can be, and especially when it comes to notifying people about shows, you don't want to tell somebody you want to talk about one thing and then you end up talking about something else, right? So that's why we're here, but we're here now, and we have work to do. All right, so please, before we get started, hit that like button, support the channel. We're asking you to hit the like button, not for our egos, but simply to get us into that algorithm so we could be seen by a wider audience, all right? So that's why we're asking you to hit that like button. Please also contribute in the chat, talk, get to know people. We have a very nice community here. If you're new and it's your first time watching True Crime and Strategic, we have one of the best community chats. It's clean, it's respectful, but it's mature. We don't stop people from having adult conversations. We just don't allow people to be ignorant and to troll. So this is a safe space for you to talk about true crime. Welcome to the family and enjoy yourself. One more time. And now let's get into it. All right, we're reacting to this new audio. I've never heard this. I don't even know which interview this actually is. So it's going to be what I call a dry reaction. Like, I don't know what's happening. We probably heard this before. I just don't know which interview it is. And I don't know what. So I probably heard the interview before. I just don't know what interview we're about to listen to. And I don't know what redactions they took out and let him say whatever they redacted before. I don't know. We're going to be doing this together. So once again, I got this from Plunder's Patreon, so all credit goes to Plunder. I do subscribe to her Patreon, and I pay monthly for it, and she allows people who pay for her Patreon to use the material and make it transformative on their own show. So I do appreciate that from Plunder. That's very kind of her. She's not gatekeeping. She's allowing us access so we can share it with you. So please consider supporting her channel so she can help us do what we're doing right now. All right, before we get started, big shout out to Brittany Owens with a $1.99 super sticker. And big shout out to Brittany Owens once again with a super chat, $10 super chat. Appreciate you for being so generous, Brittany. And Brittany says, first time being able to catch a live. I've been following you since the beginning of Maddie's case. Love you, Strategic, and the mods. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your support and your dedication to the channel. And we hope to see you more. There's so many people who watches the show, but they're not talkers. They're not interactors. And that's okay. Not everybody is down for that. Some people are watching on their TVs, and it's not easy for them to interact. But the interaction helps the show grow. So we hope to see more of you, Brittany Owens. We want to see you in that chat talking and interacting. And we need you guys to understand that it's not just enough to watch the show. You have to interact with the show because that is what YouTube has decided determines if a show should be shared to a wider audience. Guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and start playing this audio.
In Central Florida, I'm sure you're aware.
Case number 24-11313. Today's date is February 28th, 2024. The time is 00:16 hours. Speaking with Stephan again. Okay. So, as you guys know, they have phone, right? Mm-hmm. They've been going through the phone.
All right. So, of course, we've heard this before. I'm curious to find out what the redactions is, but I do have to say, in all honesty, I'm going to be much, because we've talked about this so many times before, I'm going to be much more reserved. But anybody who watches this channel knows I'm not a big fan of this particular investigator. Got into a lot of trouble for it. People tried to say sexism, stuff like that. Weird people on the internet. She's a professional. She is a detective. And I'm a professional, and I'm a detective, and I have every right to critique her style, just like people in the business have a right to critique my style. I'm not a big fan of her style. Some of you may be, and if you are, God bless you. That's your opinion, just like this is my opinion. All right, but let's keep going.
And they noticed that there was like a lot of messages between you and
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to me what your relationship is between you and
Yeah, stepfather of sorts, I guess.
Stepfather of sorts?
She thought of me as a dad, thinks of me as a dad. Mostly things like, when are you going to call us? When are you going to come up here and visit?
Did you guys catch that? She thought of me as a dad. She thinks of me as a dad. He just dropped the whole ball right there. He literally spoke about her in the past tense right then and there. Did you guys catch that? Wow. She thought of me as a dad. She thinks of me as a dad. Wow. Let's keep going.
Hey, poopy head, get online, things like that.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Your phone. I told you that I was gonna hold on to it and that we would like to download your phone, right?
Okay.
Is this something that I have your consent to do, or do I need to get a search warrant for your phone?
It should be fine.
You're okay with us going through your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have the PIN to your phone?
42586.
So this one is kind of relevant to what we were talking about when we did the show about him giving permission and if it was enough and if proper procedures were followed or if best practices was followed. So this is like really playing out what was said, and he gave her permission. I still believe, though, that they should have obtained a search warrant, which they did not. This is a capital CSAM and unaliving case. Why wouldn't you get a search warrant, even if the person gave you verbal consent? I'll also say that she did not get written consent as well. Now, I said this, and I explained the procedure, and non-law enforcement people were like, "Oh, strategic, you're doing too much. You're not, that's not how it really works." And it's like, whew, wow. Like, you got to get out your emotions. If you don't know how procedures work because you're not in law enforcement. How can you tell somebody that they're wrong just because it doesn't sound or feel right? This is what the attorneys tell us to do. Not only do we need verbal consent, but we also have to get it in writing. In fact, a new memorandum just came down in the last few weeks where they won't even allow us to get physical writing for consent for voluntary consent buccal swabs. When somebody's giving us a DNA sample, when we're saying like, listen, we want to eliminate you, from this evidence, you say you didn't do it, can you give us a sample? We would normally make them sign a release form and then we'll swab them. Now they have an electronic release form that they want us to make them sign electronically, and a supervisor has to be present to sign off in it as well. And then you got to sign off. There's 3 people got to sign that document now. Why? Because people are going to court and they're winning. They're getting these evidence thrown out. It sounds funny, but that's you don't see the whole. You see what Law and Crime is covering. You see what Channel 7 News is covering. You don't see the whole breadth of the legal system unless you're in it. Unless you're a district attorney, county attorney, detective, or defense counsel or perp. You don't see that aspect, that we're going to court and these judges are saying that's not enough. That's why the best practice is to get a verbal consent and get that same verbal consent in writing in some type of, department form, consent form. So when she's saying, yo, it sounds good to you guys, like, oh, he gave her permission, strategic. What else do you want? It's not what I want. I want Stephan Sterns to go to jail for the next 5 years and then be put to bed. I want an expedited unaliving of this guy through the capital punishment system, of course. Nobody being vigilantes, only through the courts and the justice system. I'm concerned about what happens in that courtroom. I'm concerned about the judge that's going to look at this and say, do I think this is enough? Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to how that judge feels. Point blank, period. Big shout out to Olevi Oracle with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Let's keep going.
Four, 2, 5, 8, 6. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. And then, okay, so when you guys FaceTime, what do you guys talk about?
It's usually with her mom right there too. We're just chatting.
Okay. I noticed that at some of the times that you guys are FaceTiming, it's like really late. Is it normal for her to be in bed late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, her bedtime's usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I talk to them both before bedtime when I'm not here.
Okay.
10:30 is supposed to be her bedtime, but she gets to push it sometimes.
Okay.
But mom's always present.
When you guys are FaceTiming. Okay.
I mean, listen, Jen Soto must be mom of the year because I don't tell my 13-year-old when to go to bed. She knows she has school. She knows she has to go to bed. She goes, she does the thing. She's in her room. The door's closed. She's making it happen. She gets herself up at 6 a.m, showers herself, dresses herself, picks out her clothes, say, see you later, Dad, and puts herself on the bus. Like, they're talking about Maddie like she's an invalid. Like she needs to be supervised every second of every moment and escorted into the bed. Listen, we all know that that's crap. It just shows you how improbable it is that Jen did not know that something was going on. And why would Jen put her child in that position? I don't know. This is so weird. It's like as I'm speaking about it, I'm trying to make sense of it in my brain. Like you can literally see my Intel processor spinning in my head. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Big shout out to everybody who's watching the show. We have over 300 people. Please hit that like button. Support it. Let's keep going.
Sometimes we're using her mom's phone to FaceTime with her. Sometimes FaceTiming them both together on one of the phones.
Okay. And then you said that yesterday you accidentally factory reset your phone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember what time that was?
No, it was sometime in the morning. I had been pushing off doing an update for a while.
Was that before or after you went to the smoke shop?
Before? I'm not sure. I'm not a morning person. It's a newer phone. I was doing this update. It had some sort of weird option at the bottom that said something about reinstall everything, and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing.
Okay, can you explain to
with
me? Where were you? Like, were you in your settings?
I was following whatever the links were for the OS update.
Where I don't have an Android, so I don't know where you.
I'm not super tech
Is
savvy.
it like
I'm
a
so sorry.
text? Was it?
It was a push notification that came in at the top that I had just been ignoring
Oh,
for
like
a long
up here.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just it was a it's a boneheaded maneuver.
Okay, and then where did it direct you to?
I don't know. It took me to a page with all the stuff in the system, and
The systems.
I clicked something. I wasn't paying attention.
All the stuff in the systems.
Do you remember what it said? Like, what kind of update was it?
It was like a big OS update, and it had all these options, and it was like reinstall something with all the apps and stuff. Reinstall everything, the apps and stuff. I don't know exactly what I said. I pushed it, and it started doing the update, and then it turned into some sort of reset or something. I'm not sure how I did that.
Okay.
I was half asleep,
and then when you came back to get your key fob, what did you do when you got here?
ran inside.
Yeah, I like, my attention span is like so short. Now this is good stuff though, but like somebody in the comment section is like they're a zoophiliac or something. Like, what is that? I looked it up. That's what I'm doing. I'm like looking up what they're saying in the chat, and I could not find a definition for that. So maybe the person like spelt it incorrectly, but I'm curious. Like, what is that? What were you trying to say? Put the definition in the chat, damn it. Anyways, keep going. I want to go back a second. I want to hear him how he's like mealy mouthing his way through this whole explanation as to how he resetted the phone. Like, you know, we listen to this stuff, but we're like, when we first hear it, we're looking for certain things. We're looking for, like, when we first listen to it, where is Maddie? What happened? What did he do to Maddie? And, oh, he reset his phone. That's bullcrap. Let's get, you know, but you're not like going into the details. It's when you listen to it for the second and the third and the fourth time, which is what we do in investigations. We don't watch things. That's why it's so traumatizing to be a homicide detective or a X-Crimes detective, because we have to look at the video. And a lot of times we catch this stuff on video, either the purpose recording the abuse, or it might be on CCTV when you're dealing with like a stranger or something. Like, these guys don't care. They just pull you in the alleyway. Yeah, that happens. But like, the alleyway must have been convenient. Like, I've seen ones where it just happened on the street, like literally, and people don't care, right? People like to mind their business. So we had one bad one where it's just right in between cars. That's what happened. And like, people were walking by, and some people did act like, what's up with this? And the dude was like, yo, this is my girlfriend. Get out of here. Mind your business. And they're like, all right. And the person was so terrified, they didn't say anything. They were also intoxicated. They didn't say anything. They're getting abused, and people are walking by, and they're like, yo. And they're like, yo, we're a couple. The guy's like, we're a couple. And they just kept it moving. You know, these guys don't care. You got to keep watching that. That wasn't my case, by the way, but I insisted on it. You got to keep watching that. You got to keep watching that over and over and over again. You got to look at the details. What is the person wearing? Where exactly it happened? What is the cars that were parked there? You know, maybe there's some forensic evidence. You might want to get that car processed. You know, what did they do? What were the mannerisms? Did she, you know, scratch the guy, that you could be looking for some type of injuries on a person when you find them? You know, you got to keep, in this case, let's go down to this case, you know, where you have this stuff happening inside that bedroom. What did the forensic people do? What did the detectives do? Did they not look at the sheets? Did they not look at what furniture was in there? What cups, what bowls, what food was in the background? They looked at all of that stuff to corroborate it when they came in and did their search warrant. The only way you get those details is by watching that video of that abuse multiple times. And that is where that emotional drain and that trauma kicks in for the investigators. That's why I believe that law enforcement, these agencies, should do a better job making sure two things. Number one, that their investigators that work in these critical units get cycled through. You should only be able to work in these units no more than 5 or 6 years, in my opinion, before you're not disciplined or hurt, before you're given an opportunity to go work somewhere else, cool, but not doing what you were just doing. So if you was doing, the unalivened unit, then maybe they put you in the robbery squad. Or maybe they put you in the ex-trafficking squad. If you're doing special victims, well, maybe you now go do homicide, or maybe you go do financial crimes or something. You should not have guys doing entire careers in this type of environment because it's emotionally taxing. And also, I think once a year, we should be forced to get psychologically debriefed. Once a year. Whether you want to or not, whether you're open to it or you're ignoramus, you're a hard-headed, knuckle-headed type individual, it's 8 hours out of your day. Go once a year, sit down with a therapist, and talk about it. I think that should happen. But anyway, I don't even know how we got on that tangent. Let's keep going.
Are you in your settings?
I was following whatever the links were for the OS update.
I don't have an Android, so I don't know where
I'm not super tech
Is
savvy,
it like
I'm
a
so
text? Was it?
It was a push notification that came in at the top that I had just been ignoring
Oh,
for
like
a
up
long
here.
time. Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about why we repetitively watch these things, and that's how I got into that tangent. I got it. I'm back on track. All right, so let's listen to him explain how he resetted his phone.
Okay.
And then it was a it's a boneheaded maneuver.
Okay, and then where did it direct you to?
I don't know. It took me to a page with all the stuff and the system, and
The system.
I clicked something. I wasn't paying attention.
Do you remember what it said? Like, what kind of update was it?
It was like a big OS update, and it had all these options, and it was like reinstall something with all the apps and stuff. Reinstall everything, the apps and stuff. I don't know exactly what I said. I pushed it, and it started doing the update, and then it turned into some sort of reset or something. I'm not sure how I did that.
Okay.
I was half asleep,
And then when you came back to get your key fob, what did you do when you got here?
ran inside, got the key fob, ran back out again.
Okay, where did you park?
Right up here, I think.
Okay. How long would you say you were inside your apartment for?
Literally long enough to run in, grab the fob, and come back out. So.
Okay, and then what did you do?
At the most.
What did you do when you came back out?
Got back in the car and went back on the morning mission.
Okay. The camera has you in the complex for 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem about right?
Yeah, coming into the complex, driving around, parking, getting the fob, coming back out. Sounds about right.
Okay. And then you leave. What time would you say you dropped her off at the school? Or not at the school, but in the area?
My estimate was sometime between 8:20 and 8:40.
Okay, the camera has you leaving the complex at 8:31.
8:31? Okay, so it must have been closer to 8:40 then.
Okay. And then after you dropped her off, did you go directly to the smoke shop?
I did. I went directly to the smoke shop. Waited. It was supposed to be open, but it wasn't. I waited a little while to see if they were just being slow about turning on the open sign. They weren't, so I went home at that point.
How long do you think you waited?
All right, so real quick, this kind of ties in with the video we did yesterday about the whole smoke shop situation in the Fox News 36. So here's another interview where he's like, I dropped her off and then I went to the smoke shop. You know, where he's not saying that he brought Maddie with him to the smoke shop. So this is another instance where, you know, we're still wondering, like, what's going on with Fox 36? You know, do they have an interview that has not been released to the public yet that they were able to get their hands on through FOIA or other contacts rather within these departments, or were they mistaken? Because we went over it yesterday, and the way that they wrote their article was very clear and convincing that they had their hands on a statement that says that he brought Maddie with him to the smoke shop. But there's no evidence outside of what they're reporting in that article that actually happened. Here's another audio, another interview. We played one on the video yesterday. Here's another interview where he's saying, I dropped Maddie off at school, or rather in that parking lot, and then I went to the smoke shop. And now he's about to say that he hung out there for a little while to see if they'd open up, but they didn't, so he went back home. So what's going on, Fox 36? But anyway, big shout out to LG Rescues with a $10 super chat saying, good morning, everybody, and good morning to you too, and thank you for the support and appreciate you for joining us today. Let's keep going.
5-10 minutes maybe.
Okay, so if you drop her off at like 8:40, how far is the smoke shop from there to where you dropped her off?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many minutes. How far?
Did you go anywhere else after the smoke shop?
Did I say Fox 36? I think I meant to say Fox 35. In the back of my head, I'm like, huh? 36? 35? You guys know what I'm talking about. Come on, I don't live in Florida. We got Fox 5 where I'm at. You know what I mean? For a long time, I thought it was just Fox 5. I didn't know you had all these other numbers out there. But Fox 35, which is an affiliate in Florida and covers the Kissimmee region. And they've actually been very good covering the Madeline Soto case throughout this year. They have been a bright spot when it comes to the news with their accuracy and their mini documentaries and their facts and their timelines. They've been doing a bang-up job covering this story. That's why we're all like, you know, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. We're all, well, at least I am giving them the benefit of the doubt that they might have an interview where Stephan Sterns has made this lie up, you know, but it looks like all of the evidence doesn't point that that interview exists, but they've been doing such a bang-up job. I'm giving them that benefit of the doubt and waiting for them to make a correction or some type of announcement that will basically put this all to bed. But it's Fox 35, not Fox 36. No disrespect to all my people out there in Florida who's like, how dare you, strategic? How dare you? You know what? This is how y'all feel about me. You guys are mean.
Oh, hell no!
Take that crap back to New York, strategic. Screw you. Big shout out to DNA with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate you. You're awesome. Let's get back to it.
Sorry. Oh no. I don't think I went anywhere specific. I was just driving probably in the direction of home. But I don't remember stopping anywhere specifically.
And you were there for 5 to 10 minutes?
Roundabout, I think.
Okay, so like let's say you drop her off at 8:40. We don't see your car coming back south until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing between 8:40 and 10 o'clock?
10, yes. Good question.
Cruising around a little bit.
Okay, but I asked you earlier, you know, like what you were doing, and you said you were there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you came back home.
Yeah, well, I went to the smoke shop, like I said. But I may have been meandering around the area. But
Meandering?
made my way home.
Okay, but I'm asking you earlier, right? And even like the first time we talked to you, you're not telling us that you're like, you know, just cruising the area, like you're coming home.
Right.
So I need to be able to explain to my supervisors why there's such a time gap.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It was just a normal day. I didn't have anything important to do. The smoke shop was supposed to open soon, so I made my way over there. Wasn't any particular rush, though.
Okay, but...
Well, this line of question is pretty good. Somebody said in the chat, hey, strategic, I know you have your reservations about this female detective. she's not even, she's just a detective. I just don't want to make it a gender thing because it's really not. But I'm not saying that this person is saying that. But anyway, but I feel like she actually put fire under his butt a lot more than the two bald-headed detectives. Well, first of all, I would rank her as better than the two detectives that actually did the interview inside of the interrogation room. I believe this is one of them. I think she's a better detective than those guys. And, you know, you guys who follow the show will see how much I railed on this guy that's over here in the corner of the screen. Like, I destroyed this guy. He's terrible. He's horrible. So, but right now she's actually asking decent questions. I think there's just times where she lets her emotions get the best of her. And there's also times where she has this thing that she says. Is that okay? Or do you understand? I don't know. Somebody saying in the chat her little like safe word that kind of throws her interviews off. But she's, you know, she's doing a decent job now. She's kind of getting him to fill in those blanks, dig himself in his hole even more than he already was, saying stuff like, you know, I'm just trying to make sense of it. I need to make it make sense to my bosses. You know, she's not exactly being accusatory. She's saying, hey, you know, I need you to clarify for me, which is good. And he is weaving his lie even more deeply, which always is never good for the perpetrator. So she's doing good right now. But yes, if I have a pecking order, I don't want anybody to think that I think she's the lowest on the pecking order. The lowest on the pecking order is this guy right here who did the final interview with Stephan Sterns inside of the interrogation. The guy who's like, with Stephan Sterns like, well, should I be talking to a lawyer right now? He's like, I don't know. He did the famous strategic Shaggy voice. I don't know. Well, Scooby-Doo, right? It'll be Scooby, not Shaggy. Or one of them. I think it's more of a Scooby-Doo. I don't know. The dude says, yo, should I be talking to a lawyer? And you say, I don't know. And you're like, that's not how you do a capital punishment level essay case / capital punishment level homicide case. You don't, unaliving case, you don't do that. You got to know how to talk through that. Because that, as we spoke, and every single attorney that watched that show and chimed in the comment section, also behind the scenes and emails where they sent me their credentials and proved to me that they're attorneys, they all agreed with me that he did not properly invoke for an attorney. It was debatable, something that they could have fought for in court. And I told you guys that on a live. I said, yo, that's not an invocation. If it's a person of sound mind and they say, should I be speaking to an attorney? That's not asking for an attorney. And as I explained to you guys, you got to talk through that. You got to say, man, I'm not here to give you legal advice. I can't give you legal advice, but I'm giving you the opportunity to blah, 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 blah. And you speed through that and you try and get him to get his mind off of that. Because once he says, I want an attorney, you better respect his constitutional rights and stop that interview. Done. But you read him his rights. He said he agreed to it. He said he understood his rights and he agreed to speak to you. If he asks you a question like, should I be speaking to it? You don't go, I don't know, and just stay silent. You talk your way through it. Like, listen, I'm not here to give you legal advice. I read you your rights. You know what your rights are. But listen, man, this is the final opportunity you have because guess what? I'm going to tell you one thing. If you decide to get an attorney, I'm not speaking to you anymore. I'm not trying to in any way coerce you. I'm just letting you know I want to give you an opportunity to tell me your side of the story. I'm talking off the top of my dome, obviously. The point of the whole commentary is you don't just do I don't know. And guess what? She didn't do that. This guy did that. So she's not on the bottom of my pecking order. He is. He sucks. Anyway, let's keep going. No disrespect to him. Let me not be mean. He doesn't suck. He might be awesome, and he might have just had a bad day. So let me take that back. Yeah, but you messed up big time, buddy. Anyway, let's keep going.
Can you help me explain to them? Because I don't know the explanation or the answer to this question, okay? So can you help me explain to them why there's such a delay in the time?
No, can't explain it. I wasn't going anywhere in particular. I wasn't doing anything in particular. Just making my way to the smoke shop. Waited for them to open. They did not open. And then I left.
Where did you go from there?
From the smoke shop, I went home.
Okay, the smoke shop is like 10 minutes from here, right?
15, 20-ish, something like that.
Earlier you told us it was 10 minutes.
Time is not a strong suit of mine. I'm guesstimating here. I'm doing
I
the best
understand, but I have to be able to explain.
All right, so this is where I put some critique on. I can remember it because I'm feeling it right now. She's too accusatory right now. That's another thing. Like when you start getting too accusatory, you got to read people their rights, because if you now, well, I'm talking to you like you're a perpetrator. You can't just talk to somebody and ask them these kind of accusatory questions without letting them know that they have a right to remain silent. So that's another thing that I was a little iffy about with her interview, is that she started getting her tone, and then the tone is everything. Earlier you told me it was 10 minutes. As a verse to, are you mistaken, Steph? Stephan, are you mistaken a little bit? Because I think earlier you kind of said it was like 10 minutes. So which one, can you just clarify which one it is for me? That's not accusatory. That's, hey, did you make a mistake? I'd like a correction. When you say, well, earlier, you told me 10 minutes? Because she like raises her voice at the end. You told me 10 minutes? You got to be careful, man. This is an art and a science, man. You guys don't understand. Like, if you go through the training and you get the experience and you do thousands of these, you understand that this is an art. It's not just an art because you're getting a confession or something, or you're trying to, because you rarely get confessions. It doesn't matter how good you are, you rarely get a confession. That's why the strength of your investigation is so important. I don't expect any of these people to get confessions because I know how hard it is to get a confession. What I'm saying is, you realize that the art isn't just in how you become personable with this person and extract information from them. The art is making everything stick in court. That's the true art. The true art is that there is a massive system that's waiting to receive all this data that you're generating, this information, this truth. And they're going to pick it apart. And if you don't approach this in a best practice way, in an acceptable way, in a way not that your trainer taught you or a style that you've developed, if you don't approach it in a way that the courts have said that they find acceptable, all this work is for nothing, because they'll just say it's inadmissible. They don't care how the jury feels. They don't care how the public feels. They don't care how the news feels. They don't care how the prosecutor feels. They don't care how the family feels. They don't care how the victim feels if the victim is still with us. They don't care. They care about their interpretation of the Constitution and the laws, the statutes. That's it. And prior court precedent. That's it. It's the miracle of our system. It's what keeps it as fair and honest as we possibly can as human beings, flawed individuals trying to make a perfect system. And it's a reality of fact of the way that things work. Let's keep going. It's not about us, not about you. It's about the courts at the end of the day.
Where you were for an hour and 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And right now, I can't explain that.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
That's what she said.
Smoke shop was supposed to open close to 10. I waited. They did not open. And I came home.
Okay. What time specifically was it supposed to open?
10 o'clock is when it's supposed to open.
So why'd you go at 8:40?
Like I said, I didn't go exactly at 8:40. I went to the smoke shop after I dropped her off.
But even if it was 9 o'clock, that still would have been an hour before they're supposed to open.
That's a fact.
So why would you think it would be open?
I didn't think it would be open. I was hoping I would get there early enough and wait for it to open.
Wow.
So you would have waited an hour for it to be open?
Wow. I did not wait an hour. I got there maybe 20 minutes before it opened.
So basically, first of all, big shout out to Miss Melanie. Let me just get this over here. My computer's just acting up and keeps restarting and all that stuff. First of all, before I go into my commentary, I just want to give a shout out to all the people who's just sending super chats and stuff, man. You guys are awesome. So real quick, Kim Casey for Justice is now a recruit member. Thank you and welcome. DNA with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I think I read that one already. This one I didn't. Kelly Davis with a $4 super sticker. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Paula Mesa with a $5 super chat says, hi, strategic mods and the fellow true crimers. I'm so happy to catch you live again. You're the best strategic. So funny and relatable too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Miss Melanie with another $5 super chat says, I was wondering about this part of the interview. They all sound aggravated. And they do. And both of them both of these interviewers come off a little bit aggravated. The female a little bit more so. The man, you can tell he's aggravated, but he's much more reserved in his tone. But that may not matter to somebody who's under the duress, the perpetrator, because he'll probably read off of the man's frustration just as much as his like, how should I say, his passive aggressive frustration, just as much as he's reading off of the outright frustration of the female detective. They probably both equal in Stephan Sterns' eyes. Now, but they did ask some good questions, and their questions basically show, bro, you went on a fool's errand. You basically went on a fool's errand. You want us to believe that you went to the smoke shop an hour before it's supposed to open just to hang out there and then end up leaving because it didn't open when you knew it wouldn't open, to go back home to only come back again. So you know that it opens at 10 o'clock, but you went there super early where you have to wait around for an hour. Then you said, well, you waited around for 20 minutes and it didn't open. So now you're disappointed that it didn't open when it's not scheduled to actually open. So in frustration, you now go back home only to come back when it is supposed to be open just a little bit later. A fool's errand that he wants us to believe. It's so unbelievable, it's almost comical. But let's keep going.
15 minutes before it opened and just sat and waited.
But then you're seen coming at 10 a.m. when it's supposed to open, already coming down.
Leaving, because it was supposed to open at 10 a.m. I waited a few minutes after 10. They were not opening, and that's when I left.
You did not wait a few minutes after 10.
What do you mean?
At 10 a.m., you were seen coming down southbound on Jongyang Parkway at the intersection of Jongyang Parkway and
At 10 a.m., I was
Greenlawn.
still in front of that shop waiting to see if they were going to turn on the open sign.
Okay, but if you dropped off at 8:40 and you said you only waited for a couple minutes at the smoke shop, why would you still be there at 10?
I waited to see if it would open, and they did not open.
We got that part. But you said you were there for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said you were there after, a couple minutes after 10. So that's...
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
I apologize for that. I'm trying to help you out the best that I can, but
Right, so like, if you drop her off around 8:40, let's say, give or take 10 minutes, you make it to the shop around 9, the smoke shop, and you sit there and wait for a couple minutes for it to open. You said you waited for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Does it make sense that you're still there at 10 o'clock?
I was there at 10 o'clock.
Okay, so what did you do before that?
I dropped her off.
So he doubles down.
And I made my way over. Not a direct route, but I made my way over there.
Right.
Did you stop anywhere on your way to the smoke shop?
I don't think so.
Do you have problems with your memory that you can't recall what you did?
That's another
I'm
thing.
Extremely ADHD.
You see, and that's another thing. Why'd you give him an out? You got his back on the wall. Why did you give him an out? You see what she just did? This is what I'm saying, guys. Like, there's an art to this. There's levels to this. So don't feel sorry for her or, whatever. She's doing the job. She's got the qualifications. They said in their department, you are good enough to be a detective. So you have to uphold this person to a high level, because you never know, it might be one of your relatives that they have to bring justice to. And clearly, mistakes are being made. She just gave him an out. Why would you give him an out? Why would you say, hey, do you have memory issues and mental health issues that would explain this stuff? Why give him an out? Just keep his back on the wall. You guys are going down the route where you're asking accusatory questions and you're putting his back on the wall. Why not just keep him there? Why give him an out? So as soon as she gave him an out, his whole world exploded. His eyes was wide, his brain was free, and he jumped right into it. It's May 18th. The weather outside is 80 degrees. The pool just got opened the day before. The chlorine is in there. The water's now crystal clear. All the leaves from the wintertime I'm over here foreshadowing what I'm going to be doing in a couple of months. All the leaves, God willing, you never know what happens to you, God willing. All the leaves are out of the pool. It's now crystal clear water. What did Stephan Sterns do? He just jumped right in. She did that for him. She cleaned the pool. She made it ready. She put the seats out. She put the towels there, the suntan lotion, the whole nine. And she let Stephan Sterns jump right in the pool. Why? Why? For what purposes? I don't know. The only thing I could say, rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
So just details start to get fuzzy after a while. Even the times I'm giving you are my best guesstimates here. I didn't have my phone with me at the time, so I wasn't aware of exactly what time.
There's no time on your car?
Transpiring. There probably is, but it's not my car. It's my parents' car.
How certain are you that you were outside of the smoke shop at 10 a.m.?
90% sure.
What makes you think that you were there at 10?
All right, guys, my arm is killing me. I was doing some lifting the other day. Easy on the inappropriate words in the chat. I know people are very emotional and upset. I read like some messages that have been held perfectly fine, except there's, cuss words and stuff like that in there. Say the same thing. You hate him. He's gross. He's all that stuff. Just leave the cuss words out and we'll definitely make sure that it's approved. But we got to make sure we keep this chat clean because YouTube is finding any reason to demonetize my show. All right. And what they like to do, as I explained to you guys in the previous live, is that they will demonetize the show 5 minutes after the live is done. And then it takes them 24 to 48 hours to approve it after I appeal it. And peak viewership have already come and gone. So now when they finally approve it, thousands of people aren't watching it anymore. Only a few dozen people are watching it. And guess what? The show has effectively been demonetized because even though it's green now, I'm not getting any revenue off of it. So please, let's make sure that we're not helping YouTube hold this show down. Let's keep going.
I saw lights on inside the place.
I'm going to bring it back a little bit.
It looked like they...
To the smoke shop?
I don't think so.
Do you have problems with your memory that you can't recall what you did?
Yes, I'm extremely ADHD. I'm sorry. So just details start to get fuzzy after a while. Even the times I'm giving you are my best guesstimates here. I didn't have my phone with me at the time, so I wasn't aware of exactly what time.
There's no time on your car?
Transpiring. There probably is, but it's not my car. It's my parents' car.
Oh.
How certain are you that you were outside of the smoke shop at 10 a.m.?
90% sure.
What makes you think that you were there at 10?
I saw lights on inside the place. It looked like they were coming to life in there. So it looked like they were about to open.
All right,
I was waiting to see if they were going to turn on the open.
Do you remember if there was anybody inside?
Somebody just made a really good point inside of the chat in relation to the whole smoke shop. Did Maddie go with him, smoke shop, all that good stuff. Abraham Auric says, he said Maddie was with him when he came back to get the fob, right? But then he just told her he went directly to the smoke shop after getting the fob. So I'm wondering, is there a mix-up with Fox 35 in reference to the trip that Stephan went from the school area, from the church back to the house because he left the fob? And I think along the way, they were going to the McDonald's or something. It's hard to keep up with his lives. And then he realized he left his fob, so he went back to the house. And Maddie was seen with him in the car going back into the development by the security guard. So could there have been a statement where he said that they stopped at the smoke shop first and then they went back to the house? I don't know. But there's a lot of back and forthing. We can't forget that his story is not, I took Maddie straight to school. That's never been his story. His story always has been an amalgamation of taking her to the church, going to the McDonald's. She now went to McDonald's, going back to the house because of no fob or whatever, coming back to the McDonald's to try and convince her to get the McDonald's, but she really didn't want it. So then taking her back to the parking lot, dropping her off, and then going to the smoke shop. Smoke shop is not open. So then he goes back home. Then allegedly, Jen Soto is sleeping, even though her testimony and evidence will most likely show that she wasn't even there, that she was at the doctor's office getting blood pulled, and then going back to the smoke shop again, and then finally come back to the house again, where then it does corroborate that Jen Soto is back in the house with him. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, guys. A lot of different stories being told. I'm just still trying to figure out what happened with the Fox 35. Guys, before we keep playing, please do hit that like button. Almost 700 people watching right now. Hit the like button, support the channel. Let's keep going.
I couldn't see inside from the outside. But after I came home and then went back to the smoke shop again later, when they definitely were open, I stopped in and got my vape juice finally. I don't remember the name of the guy working there, but he was like a skinny guy, short, skinny guy.
When you came back for the fob, did she go inside with you?
No, she was in the car still. She was asleep.
Where in the car?
Passenger side.
The front seat.
Correct.
Okay. Did she at any point go in the back of the vehicle, like in the back seat?
No.
So she was in the front the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Awake or asleep?
She was asleep.
Okay.
She was conked out. We had gotten up early.
How was she positioned in the front seat?
Leaned back in the seat, just kind of conked out, napping.
Where was her head in relation to the seat?
Against the seat, I think. Against it. Just.
Was the seat leaning back, or
The seat was leaning back. Yeah, she had leaned the seat back so that she could recline and.
All right, this is interesting. This also shows that, and I think Grizzly covered this because I watched her cover this, and I super chatted in, thanked her for her hard work and all that good stuff for her catching this. Other people send me emails and stuff like that. I don't want to take any credit away from anybody. I got a few emails from folks, especially Redditors, who were saying, look, there's some discrepancies here. It all kind of happened at the same time. But when you look at the Fox 35 article and you listen to this interview right here, when they start quoting the conversation where the way they wrote it make it seem like this is where he says he took Maddie with him to the vape shop, it's this interview right here. It's just these last few sentences that we just heard between the female detective and Stephan Sterns. And he doesn't say that he took Maddie to the vape shop with him. This little back and forthing right now, this is literally what they quoted in that article. Very weird stuff. Don't make me do it. Just don't make me put this on because this is weird. And when stuff get weird, the hat goes on because the hat is the only thing that shows me the truth and shields me from the lies. So Fox 35, you're scaring me right now, and this ain't a tinfoil show, but you're gonna make me put the tinfoil hat on the head. But we're gonna put it down for now. I'm not there yet, but okay. Let's listen to that again.
The front seat.
Correct.
Okay. Did she at any point go in the back of the vehicle, like in the back seat?
No.
So she was in the front the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Awake or asleep?
She was asleep.
Okay.
She was conked out. We had gotten up early.
How was she positioned in the front seat?
Leaned back in the seat, just kind of conked out, napping.
Where was her head in relation to the seat?
Against the seat, I think. Against it. Just.
Was the seat leaning back, or
The seat was leaning back. Yeah, she had leaned the seat back so that she could recline and.
Okay. And then I need you to try to, refresh your memory. When you got the flat tire on 192, what could you see around you?
It's 192. It all looks the same. I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank as any specific businesses or names.
Did you pull off to the side of the road to a business?
I pulled off into a side plaza, like one of those little strips along the side. Dug around for my spare and my jack. Thankfully, we had both.
What direction were you coming in?
I was going towards John Young.
Okay.
So that direction.
And it was a plaza. You don't remember any businesses that were in the
I
plaza?
don't. I was focused on the
What
wheel.
color is the plaza?
Oh God, I have no idea what color the plaza was. I'm sorry, didn't even register a detail like that.
Okay, remind me again what you were doing on 192.
I was looking around at different game shops. One of my card games just had a release on Friday, Lorcana.
What card are you talking about?
It's like a trading card game, and they had a big release on Friday, so I wanted to go around.
What's
and see.
the card though?
I'm sorry.
What is the game?
It's called Lorcana.
Lorcana?
Yeah, Lorcana. It's a trading card game made by Disney, kind of like Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering.
Okay, and you stopped at what shop?
I stopped over by Target. I was going to see if they had any. I then went up and was going to go to a place called House Rules Games.
This guy is the biggest baby on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to the gym tonight. I got to work this one out. I had to skip legs last night because I forgot to bring gym clothes to the job. We got 2 gyms at the job. You know, they want to keep us in shape so we can stick around for a while and get abused. So I go back to chest and upper body and my stomach and all that stuff today. And I'm going to work extra hard because this guy's got me frustrated. He's got me real frustrated. I look up the Lorcana. This is like some childish little baby stuff here. We got Disney princesses and Ariel, and this is like some, like who would sleep with a guy like this? This guy's a man child, man. Like you look at Warhammer 40K, Warhammer, like it's a kid's, you know, it's not a kid's thing, but it's like it's an adult game. It's filled with war and unaliving and sci-fi. It tittles the male brain. I get that. I never ever teased him for being into 40K because I like 40K. I don't play it, but I like the lore, and I can't wait to watch the TV show that Amazon is producing on it. I want to see some things get blown up. I'm with that. But this is like for little girls. Maybe that's his thing. Maybe he's saying I play the Lorcana, but maybe this is something he's sharing with Maddie to keep her roped in. Maybe he is acquiescing himself to things that Maddie would be into so that he could basically dominate her time. Not only is her pseudo stepfather, as he identified himself as, but also her abuser, but also her boyfriend, and also her husband, and also her tormentor, and also her best friend too. He's doing what typical abusers do. He's literally encircling her. You know, like back in the days when they had the wagons, they would circle the wagons. That's where that term comes from. You circle the bad guy with the wagons. He was encircling Maddie. He was dominating her time. I don't think he was playing that Lorcana thing. I think he was playing that with Maddie. I think he was into a lot of things that little girls would be into so that he can once again dominate her time. All she knows is Sterns. Typical grooming, ped, pred tactics. Very interesting. This is not a game that an adult would play. Not a game an adult would play. Even the visuals wouldn't make sense to your adult male brain. What do I know? Let's keep going.
That is on 192 and Oak Street.
Mm-hmm.
I did not make it to House Rules Games because I got a flat tire before
Okay, which
then.
Target did you go to?
The one down on 192.
192 and what?
Is there more than one down there?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the area.
It's the one down there by the Walmart, I think. I'm not sure what the cross streets are. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish I could be more help. I'm so sorry.
And how long were you changing your tire for?
I'm not sure how long it took. I got back here by like 2:35, 2:40, because I was trying to get home to go with her to go pick up from school. And we needed to leave by 2:30. The flat tire made me late for that.
Did I stop it? Yeah. Sorry, I hit the keyboard. Phone was dropped. Big shout out. It's good that that happened. It's Providence, because we want to give a big shout out to Snap Happy 27 with a $20 super chat. Said thanks for educating us. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel. I'd be talking to space if it wasn't for all you folks who decide to come and support me. I never ever forget that I'm nothing without you guys. One thing about me is there's a lot of channels that come out there that are instantly a hit, and God bless them, man. Instantly a hit. You know, they tackle a niche market. You know, they've got the I missed something. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make sure Aki just let me know I missed a super chat. I'm gonna definitely go check that out. I apologize for that. But they instantly a hit. That wasn't my journey. Okay. I've been on YouTube for years, and the most I would get is 20 people on a live stream. And you know what that does? That humbles you. When you're on that struggle, when you're in that struggle streaming, it humbles you. It makes you not take your audience for granted. So I want you to go check out your favorite YouTube streamer. No beef, no drama. I'm not talking smack. Whoever it may be, Mr. Beast, whoever, I don't care. Go check out your favorite YouTube streamer who was a hit the moment they came on a platform. There was just something about them that people just connected with. See how that person treats their audience versus somebody like me who will always remember what it's like to put your blood, sweat, and tears into something and only 20 people show up. You learn to value those 20 people. You learn to understand that those 20 people are everything. So now when you get 670 people in a room, you definitely understand that it's a blessing that that many people are taking time out of their life to actually listen to what you have to say. You understand how insignificant you are on this platform, that is, because you're somebody somewhere else. But how insignificant you are without you folks. You guys make this show, and I want to tell you thank you. Now, let me go and thank the person who sent me a super sticker. Thank you, Aki. Let's go ahead over here. Big shout out to Jamie MP with a super chat. $2 super chat says, everyone join the membership. What a great super chat. Everyone join the membership. Let's give some music for that one. What is that? Put church music on. Like, what's going on here? Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's keep going.
Okay. And there's absolutely nothing that you can remember about the plaza that you got the flat.
No, I don't remember color. I mean, it's all just kind of brownish, I think, along there.
And you said when you got your flat, you were heading towards JYP from 192.
Yes.
Okay, where's your flat tire at?
It's in the trunk.
Okay.
I've got the spare on there right now.
Yeah, I saw the spare. I don't think I have anything else. Your wife has my phone number. Mm-hmm. If you can remember where you got your flat tire, just have her send me a text message, okay?
Okay. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I know the details are important, and just the way our brains work with ADHD is...
Our brains work. The way our brains work. Who is he talking about, our? Is he talking about Maddie? Did she have ADHD? I don't think she had ADHD, but I don't know. Somebody tell me in the chat. Is he talking about Jen? We know Tyler Wallace had ADHD. That's what he said during his interview. The reason why it stands out to me is because we are listening to the interviews of Stephan Sterns. We're listening to the interviews of Jen Soto. So much of what they say matches, like they're reading from a script. And then he says, we have ADHD. Our memories aren't good. We're time blind. She uses the word time blind. Tyler Wallace used the word time blind. I'm not saying he has anything to do with this. I don't believe he has anything to do with this. That's probably what the problem was. He had nothing to do with Madeline Soto, at least not the way he should have as a father. It's almost like he's speaking for Jen. It's almost like he's setting the tone and the tenor that you're not going to get much from us when it comes to the details because we're not good with time. We've got ADHD. We've got mental health issues. We don't remember the facts. When I hear that, and if I believe that, and if that really is the truth, then we're talking about coordination, ladies and gentlemen. So we have to ask ourselves, are they coordinating? Are they coordinating? It's a good question. Just wanted to throw that out at you guys. Food for thought. Let's keep going.
Those things can get fuzzy.
Are you on any medication?
I'm supposed to be. I have not been medicated lately. So
Okay.
I'm not a morning person. I'm very time blind on the best of days and forgetful. So I understand that none of that is helpful in this case.
Okay.
I'm pretty sorry.
I explained to your wife that we're gonna have the apartment secured for the rest of the night. Okay?
Why? So the investigation is not going to happen tonight?
It is. So,
okay.
I explained to her, me and him have been out all day, right? So we're going to go home, but just because me and him are going home doesn't mean that there isn't other people out here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have another unit out here, which is called Violent Crimes. They're out all night. So they're going to keep looking. We also have some of our detectives that were sent home earlier to get rest because they were going to come and relieve me and him, right? So we're going to take like shifts with the investigation because obviously if we're exhausted, we're of no use, right?
We're all exhausted too.
Right.
My brain is mush.
Right. And we don't want that to happen with anything that we're doing. So what we're doing is we're taking turns with whatever needs to be done. So we'll brief whoever's coming next and then, hey, this is what we did. This is what needs to be done, okay? The reason we are keeping your house for the night is because your house cannot be completed by one person, right? We don't do that. We have a unit that comes and takes pictures and does whatever they need to do with the house. After a certain time, it's only one person working in that unit. And she can't do it by herself. So people come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. So when the rest of her squad comes in, they're going to come in and, tackle your place as a unit so that they can get it done quicker. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then I explained to her too, because it was last in your car, we are going to also tow your car, okay? It's going to go to our sheriff's office, which is at 2500 West Colonial, okay?
All right, so she's gonna get wrapping it up right now. Just want to give a big shout out to A Obsidian. Says, can I send emojis I made for your channel? I made a dirt under the bridge. That's pretty awesome emoji, and justice for Maddie emoji. And maybe I need to make a gavel. All right, cool, man. Yeah, definitely. I think Aki said send it to the email address. We do appreciate you, and we look forward to it. I had a member say, "Oh, you ranting a lot today, Strategic." Well, I mean, we already heard this. We heard this already, so we're giving our commentary. So come on, man. This is what we do here on the channel. Some of these folks, they get the free membership and they're not really down for the cause. They just was given a really good gift and they don't know how to be nice about it. But anyway, big shout out to everybody who's supporting us. We have over 700 people. Please hit that like button, support the channel. And I do see I missed another super chat. I want to definitely give that person a shout out. Nope, that already covered that one. Good. And Andy Tippler is now a recruit member, and Diamond Ring Girl, congratulations, you got a diamond ring, is also a recruit member. We appreciate you. Let's keep going.
She said she needed to get her medication. You're not under any medication.
I have medication in the house, though, that I do need to get my blood pressure meds and anxiety meds as well.
Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out where all of this stuff is. Where's your stuff at?
Upstairs in the guest room currently.
In guest room number 4?
Yes.
All right, so it's almost over, people. Somebody said this lady police officer is over-explaining police role, in my opinion. I feel the need to explain to him their plan is weird. I felt that was weird too when I was listening to it for the first time, like really walking through every single thing. I think it's just kind of like, sometimes people do stuff that's kind of like safe. It like gets them in their rhythm. That's kind of what I was feeling. Like she does this to kind of get her in her rhythm, you know? But yeah, it was not necessary, but you know, I'm not going to go too hard on it because then I'd just be nitpicking. Let's keep going.
And it's on top of the mini refrigerator.
Is it on, does it have your name on it?
Yes, all of it.
Okay,
There should
where
be
does she
4
keep
bottles
her,
there.
where does she keep her medicine?
In her zipper case on her nightstand, I believe.
In the downstairs.
Correct.
What zipper?
It's like a little sort of brown zipper case. It's on her nightstand. So right on top of her
Okay, so I can just bring the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any bottles on top of the nightstand around it too, but you might
just
want to
grab all
grab
of
those.
it.
Yeah, just
Is
grab
there
them.
anything that you can recall that we haven't asked you? I know we asked you like a whole bunch of questions earlier, and we just asked you like a whole bunch more.
I don't know. My brain is so mush right now. I barely slept. I haven't eaten in 2 days.
It's kind of odd.
I'm trying to think of questions.
Is there anything that we haven't asked you? It's kind of odd. I mean, I get it. It kind of like disarms him a little bit because it's like, you're participating with helping us find Maddie. You're not the bad guy. You're not a subject. You know, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you think might help? I can see that. Now I get it now. That sounds like a good question. I get it. I just need to process it a little bit. Let's let it keep going.
It's for you.
Can I see what shirt you're wearing?
What's that?
Can I see what shirt you're wearing?
Yeah. Just a blue shirt.
Okay.
Remember what shirt you were wearing on Monday morning?
I believe it was this shirt. I'm still wearing the same shirt.
Have you showered since then or anything?
I showered the other night. No, not since yesterday.
He's stinky. He didn't take a shower since yesterday. Big shout out to Rochelle Sean with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Guys, hit a ton of likes on Rochelle Sean. That's very kind of her. Please hit that thumbs up for Rochelle for being so kind and generous with us.
Sorry, your hair is even still greasy.
I know you got a cut, right, from...
Yeah, from changing the tire.
Do you mind if I see your arms?
Yeah, go for it. I changed the tire.
Can you,
like,
do you mind
go
taking your
for
shirt
it.
off?
it's cold, but yeah.
It's cold.
I changed the tire in like 10 years. I made a rookie mistake. Got my thumb too close to the jack in the frame and it slipped. I pinned my thumb in between the frame and the jack. I got lucky. I panicked and pulled it out,
Can we see
which
the other side?
you're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot
Go
of
like
pain.
this?
I panicked.
And flip your hand over. Can you see the other arm?
Whatever my parents used for a tire iron in there.
Do you mind if I take a
janky.
picture of the
Yeah,
cut you got?
yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Call-in show.
Let me see if the flash works.
We're taking calls after this. We're taking calls.
Okay. Can you go like this again? And then flip it over for me. Let me do this. Flip it over, please. Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah. She got her stuff. So let me go get your stuff and then you guys will be good to go. Okay, where are you guys gonna head? Do you know?
No idea.
Okay. Can you have your wife text me an address of wherever you guys end up
Yeah,
tonight?
I think my dad's on his way down too.
My dad's. Dude is 40.
Okay. Let me just verify with your wife her pills, and that's it. Okay?
Yeah, I definitely don't fault the detective for calling Jen his wife at this stage. They probably didn't have the information, but if he's saying he's a stepfather and all that stuff, one can easily make that mistake. Big shout out to everybody who's watching so far. Over 700 people. Please hit the like button. We're doing a call-in show now. I'll play out the last few, I think it's like 8 seconds left. We'll play that out, but please do hit that like button. And also, we got the call-in show. We want to hear from you. 518-639-6283. I know yesterday's show we had the wrong phone number. People were trying to call in and they couldn't call in. It was saying out of service. It is not out of service. This is the correct number, 518-639-6283. I want to hear from you guys. Let's let it play out.
And then your phone, they're going to work on it overnight, so you'll probably get it in the morning. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Big shout out to Plunder for having us on her Patreon. We were able to listen to us because of Plunder's Patreon. Big shout out to her. Guys, 518-639-6283, 518-639-6283. I want to hear from you. I want to talk about what's going on today. What did you guys get from this? Did you get something new? Did something tittle your brain? Like, you have any questions? Like, talk to me. I want to hear about this, guys. Call in. Let's hear about it. Good, buddy? Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm almost done soon, all right? All right. So I want to hear from you guys. All right, we got New York City Boomer says, Jen does claim she believed he took a shower because she found a wet towel on her bathroom floor. He did change his shirt from red to blue. That's interesting. It's very interesting. Somebody asked if they would be testing his privates for DNA, and I believe that they did that in the interrogation room. What's going on, caller? Welcome to True Crime and Strategic. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rachel from Ohio.
What's going on, Rachel?
I had a question. Everyone's talking about the smoke shop and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, do they have any cameras from the smoke shop that shows his timeline as far as the time he's saying that he was supposedly there?
I'm not specifically sure if they were able to get footage from the smoke shop. I know that they tried. I remember reading that that's one of the places that they went to try and get video, just like they tried to get video at the school to verify that Jen Soto went there, and that didn't work out. But they do have tons of LPR hits. LPR stands for license plate readers. And those are little bunny ears on the back of the police cars. And they have tons of those, and also Easy Pass and other sensors that they had on the highways that's tracking his movements. So they know what time he was on the road and what time he left. And they had the LPR information when they were doing the interview with him. That's why they were able to say, well, we have you going south at 8 whatever, or 10 o'clock, you were over here, because of the license plate readers. So whether they have it or not, they do have enough data to determine where he was and where he wasn't. Either way, his goose is cooked.
Okay, yeah, that's all I was curious about. The one to ask about, because I was just wondering if they had video as far as put a timeline out and stuff, saying he was there at that time. He said he was there. That's all I was wondering.
You got it. Well, thanks a lot for calling. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, good caller, good question. That is a very good question. But as far as his timeline goes, I think there's just a very few dead spots where they can account for him for a little bit. But for the most part, I think they can account for most of his movements. I think things kind of get wonky where it gets to where the body was disposed of. But other than that, I think they have a really good grasp on, especially that whole timeline prior to 10 o'clock and 10 o'clock, like prior to 1 o'clock. I think they got him dead to rights, like in terms of like by the school, by the McDonald's, the smoke shop, and that stuff. They got that stuff well documented. This guy really didn't think this through too much. That's what makes me believe that he probably did not intend to end Maddie. Maybe he thought about it, but he didn't intend to do it. It's something that happened in that 24 to 48 hours that resulted in this tragedy. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this stuff happened, and that's premeditated still. I mean, you could premeditate right before you do something. It's how the law is set up. A lot of people think premeditation is weeks and months of preparation. Premeditation could be right before the action is done. But I believe that this stuff started falling apart, like really falling off the rails, 24 to 48 hours before this tragedy occurred, or at least the last act of this tragedy, because there's been tragedies happening in this story since this individual was very, 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 very juvenile. I'm talking like this because I'm trying to watch what I say for YouTube. You guys know that's not how I speak. You guys know exactly what I want to say. But when I say exactly what I want to say, we pay for it in the long run because of the YouTube gods, all right? But the last act of this tragic play, I think it started becoming evident, and it unfolded in that last 24 to 48 hours when she's doing the birthday thing at grandma's house and he's at the residence on Saturday. Then she gets driven home on Sunday, and now they're alone. I don't believe at this point. Two things I don't believe about Jen Soto. Two theories that I have that I don't believe. Number one, everything else I don't believe, but I don't have no proof that is clear and convincing to me. But there's two things that I feel is clear and convincing that are falsehoods that have been said. One, I don't believe that Jen Soto saw Maddie Sunday night. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. What's up, caller? Give me 1 second. Let me just finish a point. And the second thing I don't believe is I don't believe that Stephan went into the room with the whole dog thing, and the dog is on the bed and he's trying to put the leash on and all that stuff. And she got up and then he said, "Oh, go back to bed." And she just goes back to bed. I don't believe that either. But anyway, welcome to the show, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Nikki, and I'm calling from Chicago.
What's up, Nikki? Welcome.
So, okay, I have a point to make, but we've listened to these, recordings so many times, and one of the things that I just caught that maybe I didn't catch before was that when he's describing the buildings, he's like, oh, it's like a brownish building, and maybe I kind of got my timelines mixed up, so I don't know if that's when he's describing where he got the flat tire or if he's describing like the smoke shop. But if he describes the flat tire as like bone chilling, he's like, oh, it was a bone chilling and I made a rookie mistake. And if that were me, I would be like, okay, I'm looking around and there's a McDonald's and there's a Walgreens. And like,
Right.
I would certainly remember if it was a bone chilling situation. And so he's so lazy within his details that I don't understand how he thinks he's going to get away with this, or how he really is confidently like, they don't know and they're not going to catch on to me. So I know it's not new information, but he's so lazy with what he says.
No, you're making a good point. But one thing I've learned about the psychology of these folks is that they don't think long term. Now, think about it, right? Statistically, I'm not going to say statistically because I don't have the statistics, but one would think that if you're doing this to a person for so long, that eventually they're going to grow up and they're going to tell on you. So most rational people who are sick and have these kind of thoughts will probably say, I'm not going to do this because I'll eventually get caught.
Yeah.
Guys like him don't think in the future. He's living for the now. He's an emotional person. He's an emotionally stunted person. And although he tries to project as though he's an intelligent person, he purposely goes and studies Old English to use words that are antiquated to make himself sound sophisticated. That's all an act. It's all a mask. It's all him trying to make himself. And if you just look at his Reddit posts, his Reddit just basically says everything. That he is a person that wants to be viewed in a light that is not his reality. He wants to be a wise, well-lived, well-traveled, mature individual that has an answer for everything, and that's just not the truth. If you really know Stephan Sterns, you know that who he is on Reddit is not who he is in the real world. Right. This guy lives in the moment. And I hear what you're saying, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. But we can't rationalize why he would think he would get away with it, because I don't think he thought that far along. The way he talks and the way he presents himself would make you think that he is a deep thinker and he's somebody who would plan this out. But the reality is that's just a facade. It's all fake. It's not who he really is. And when he's under the pressure, he's going to act in his natural way. He's going to fall back to his default state of mind, which is a very unintelligent and irrational, emotionally stunted person, a person who would asphyxiate this child right out the gate and not think about what the consequences of that would be.
Yeah, I have also one more question, and I don't know if we've talked about this in the past, but and she lived in a condo townhome, right? And I personally live in a condo and in townhome, and we can have the Ring doorbell cameras. So do you know if they even asked like neighbors and stuff if they caught like Ring door cam footage, like of him coming in or out? Like, did we ever get an answer on that?
I don't know. That's just standard police procedure, but what you fail to take into account is because you said you live in a condo, you have a HOA, right?
Right.
Every HOA is different. So the HOA down in Florida,
some allow them and some don't.
Exactly, 2,000 miles from where you live in, they may be like, hell no, that's a violation of privacy. We don't want that. They make their own rules up, period. Or we don't want you parking 5 feet away from the door because it doesn't look good. Or you can't put these type of flowers in front of your house. That's why we started out in an HOA condominium townhouse with 3 floors, and we couldn't wait to get the hell up out of there. It was like, no, this is not freedom. No disrespect, of course. A home is a home. If you live in a home, God bless you. But
not fun.
But for us, we're like, oh no, we out of here.
It's terrible.
It is. It's and then the persons who have the most time on their hands and also the most egotistical people are the ones who become the board presidents, and they're like dictators. Yeah. So, yeah. So we don't know. But I will say this, regardless of the critiques that I've had of the police departments down there, that is standard operating procedure. So I will give them deference and say I believe that they have asked. They have definitely asked. There's somebody else calling in. I'm going to let you go so I can grab that call, and then I'm going to end the show after I get that person. All right.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you. You got it. Hey, what's going on, caller? Welcome to True Crime with Strategic. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, fair enough.
Oh, my God. Hi, Strategic. This is Cathy. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Cathy? Welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thank you. So I was calling, to why didn't they ask him when you went back to supposedly get your clicker, why didn't you get your phone, and why didn't you get Maddie's phone, right?
That's a good question. I think that when he went back, he did get his phone. He didn't have his phone for that first volley. And then when he came back, he got his phone, I believe. Or no, I don't know, because no, we're talking about two different stories, because like he had different timelines mixed in. So that's a good question. It is a good question for at least the first time he told that story. But remember, the second time he didn't get the clicker. He just went straight to, he dropped off and then went straight to the smoke shop. We're talking about multiple stories. The clicker thing was like the first story he told.
Right, exactly. He was. It was like they said, "Oh, but how come we saw you going back?" And he's like, "Oh, I forgot that I had left my clicker, the fab." And so he went back, and so he said that he was just enough time to get the fab, right? The fab clicker. That was enough time, and then he left. But why didn't he get his phone and Maddie's phone?
That's true.
When he went back, because well,
I would say this because when he went back, he had Maddie with him. So why didn't you get Maddie's phone?
Exactly.
It's a good question.
But of course, he was conveniently sleeping.
Yeah.
Conveniently sleeping. Yeah. But I mean, I know that we already have him. I know that this thing is going to stick with him, because I know no judge is going to throw away any of those awful evidence of what he did to Maddie. But my thing is, and what breaks my heart is that, I'm a Latina, mom, okay, and I would never allow my child to sleep alone with no other, man. That is just not, that's just like super out of, just not correct. So
Right.
I feel that her mom should be, held accountable, and I'm hoping that, because I'm here in Florida, I'm hoping that, they listen to your shows and to all the shows that, to talk about Maddie and what her mom allowed, because she's allowing, and it's like another lady said, because she allows him to do that because, she was getting these drugs from him. And that's how he control her, allowing. I mean, what mother, what person, and also I know a lot of people, are like, defending the dad, but I'm with you, strategic. I am with you. I also, I was born, and raised without a dad, and I know how it is, and I'm there for my child. How can that father not be there? For his little baby. She was a beautiful, and any child, but she was a beautiful little child that she should have deserved to have the love of both parents. But thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime.
Okay.
You have a great one.
I'm a big fan. You too. Bye,
Appreciate
strategic.
You. All right. Appreciate
Bye.
you. Very nice call. Very nice call. I'm going to switch off the phones now because my son is over here and he wants my attention and I got to get up out of here. But I got to say, good call. Makes perfect sense what she was saying. Why didn't you get the phone? Also, come on, we got to go with facts here. Mr. Wallace was not the best father on the planet, and I've been calling that out. People defending him. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Is he Bill Gates or something? Is he like handing out checks to people to defend him? I don't know, because the facts definitely show that he was a negligent dad. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And, as far as the caller said that, she would never, that I don't think aliens would let strangers sleep with their kids. People from the Big Dipper, people from the Orion Galaxy Nebula Cluster, they're not letting, some dude that they don't even want to sleep with their kid. Jen Soto said, I don't want to sleep with you no more. I don't want to sleep with you. I don't look at you like that. I don't want to be intimate with you, so go sleep with my daughter. Does that make any sense, ladies and gentlemen? Of course it doesn't. It's crazy. Before we go, I want to answer some of your super chats. I saw you guys sent them. I was in the middle of call, so I couldn't acknowledge them. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge it right now. Jaggy B with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Jaggy. Aya with a $5 super chat says, would the police withhold photos of the 2 pregnancy tests Jen said were under the sink in her bedroom? I don't recall seeing them in the new photos. I don't know what they would withhold or not. That's up to the prosecutor and up to the courts. I do know that we're still receiving photos, right? There's still photos to be received. We just got 711 new photos. So there's still more stuff to be received out there. So certainly, this is the release of information is not over. Princess Pillow with a $5 super chat says, thank you for your extensive coverage of this case. I'm local and watching your content has been helpful for processing and healing. Thank you so much for watching and believing in me and supporting my channel, Princess. You are appreciated. And a $20 super chat from Scrappy says, hey man, you could enlighten a lot of people how we interview others. Chicks do it differently than I would, and you do differently than I do. That would do well on a lot of edification. Thank you so much for supporting, Scrappy. You're right. We all have different ways of doing this, a lot of different ways of approaching these interview and interrogations. The only thing I can do is just give you guys my style and my critique on what I think some of these investigators could do a little bit better. And believe me, I give love when love is deserved, man. You guys know how I feel about Detective Kevin. My straight, masculine man crush on the professionalism and the investigative approach of Detective Kevin. Got nothing but love and respect for that guy. So I give the positivity, I give the bona fides and I celebrate people when they deserve it, and I critique people when they deserve to be critiqued. I try and be fair here on True Crime with Strategic. That being said, guys, let me go ahead and bring this over here. Consider becoming a member of the Strategic Eyes Show. We do give exclusive content and stuff that we can't drop for everybody else. And also our Patreon is even better, in my opinion, no disrespect, because I'm able to put stuff on a Patreon that I can't put on YouTube because YouTube will moderate it. You guys know that if I upload a video to YouTube and I don't release it to anyone, it's unlisted. It's unreleased to anyone. Do you know that the bot still moderates it? So if I was to upload something that violates the TNS of YouTube, and it's unlisted and not one soul has seen that video, I could still get a strike on the channel just for uploading it on their platform, period. So there's some things we can't put on YouTube. We can't put it for the members. We can't put it for any reason whatsoever, because you can get disciplined for it on YouTube if you put it on their platform. And that's why we have a Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to Smiley Nikki with a 199 super chat, says thank you for allowing us to be heard anytime. You are appreciated. And on that note, I'll see you guys on the next one. Let me go ahead and cue up that outro. Strategic is out of here. Peace. I'm still trying to figure out what is the exophiliac. Like, what is that? I'm still trying to figure out what that is. Somebody email me. Zoophiliac, what is that? Email me what that is. I can't find it on Google. This is